Hey guys, welcome to another video on the series of the fundamentals of the stock market. We just finished the topic on the technical analysis, and in the next few videos we're going to talk about risk management and money management. This is a really important topic regardless of how good you are with fundamental or technical analysis. However, many new traders and investors, they simply ignore this topic, and this actually would cost you a lot. Imagine, right, if there is a trader who is really good at trading and he wins trades 60% of the time. However, he takes unnecessary risks and end up losing more money. Versus another trader who wins 40% of the time, but he takes measured risk and end up winning more money than he loses. Of course, any of us would still prefer to be the second trader. In this video, we'll talk about something in the probability and statistics side called expectancy. If you have done statistics or play any professional probability games, then you would have heard of this, right? So let's talk about the definition. What does it mean? It is the average amount that you can expect to win or lose per trade with your system. And usually it has to be statistically significant, meaning it should have enough data sets. In this case, it should be at least 30 trades. Then let's look at the calculations. The calculation is also quite straightforward. It is basically the probability of your winning times the average win amount minus the probability of loss times the average loss. So let's talk about example. Let's say if you are trading and you win 80% of the time, and on the average, when you win $700. Versus you may lose 20% of the time, and when you lose $1,000. In this case, the expectancy for you is that every trade you should be able to make $360 given the fact that you make enough trades. There's a lot of data, a lot of trades that has happened. And over the long run, you should be making a positive expectancy, meaning that you'll be making money, right? This expectancy can actually be applied to various different places, including your specific strategy. Imagine maybe you'll be looking at all your trades for one strategy, and you're calculating what's the probability of winning with you in this strategy, and what's the probability of loss. Then with a number of how much you average win and loss, you can calculate what is the expectancy that you have for this strategy. And you can actually do this with some paper trading accounts, meaning that they're not real money, but you'll be able to get the data and calculate, hey, how well do I do with this strategy? And then you can find a more favorable strategy with you in this case. Great. I hope this expectancy part makes sense. Let's talk about another important aspect, probability. So in this case, let's touch upon gambling versus educated betting. And I'm sure many of you have heard people say, hey, stock market, when you're trading, it is gambling, right? But I think we want to differentiate what is really the meaning of gambling versus an educated betting. Because after all, we don't want to be gambling. Gambling, in this case, means that you're playing a game of chance where you cannot predict the outcome. That means majority of the time, you might be losing more money. Versus for educated betting, this is, in some sense, still an act of gambling, but the outcome is perceived to have a positive expected value, meaning a positive expectancy. And we just talked about expectancy, right? So this means that yes, there is an aspect of gambling involved, but you are calculating the probability that over long run, over multiple different trades, you will be able to make positive value, making money out of it. So what is really considered gambling versus educated betting? Do you think playing the stock market is gambling? How about real estate investment? What about poker? Well, a lot of people think gambling is actually associated with the product or what you are purchasing, right? They think that if you're buying real estate, then it is definitely an investment. Perhaps they think because it's physical, versus if it's poker, then it's definitely gambling. And there is a debate on whether if you're playing the stock market, if it's gambling or not. But imagine if someone actually buys a real estate without checking properly on the area. Is it really going up in prices, right? Or is the seller selling it because it is a place that has no potential? And what about the quality of the place? Did they check properly whether if the utilities and the house itself is in good condition? They could actually end up losing 10% or 20% of their original investment at the moment of their purchase because they haven't done all these proper understanding and studies beforehand. Versus if we're talking about a professional trader who develops their strategy and have a high positive expectancy, then the likelihood of him winning in the long run is positive, which makes him an educated bettor. Sure, there is times where he's gonna lose, right? And that's why there is a gambling aspect involved. And the same thing with real estate, right? No one would really predict when the housing market is gonna crash because of various different aspects, but you can minimize your risk by understanding what is a positive expectancy so that you can do a educated betting on it. Lastly, I kind of want to talk about professional poker players, right? They actually study the probabilities of different hands and how the chance of them winning with different hands as well. So if they're going into a game of poker against someone who does not know anything about probability, does not know anything about this expectancy, then who do you think is more likely to win? Of course, the professional poker player, right? And in this case, in the long run, because they understand how the game works, because they study it and the probability of it, they are going to have a positive expectancy. So in this case, they're actually an educated bettor as well. So again, we want to differentiate the difference between gambling and educated betting to dissociate it from the product that we're talking about. It's not the product that makes it gambling, right? It's really so that you know how you can calculate to get the positive expectancy so that you can make educated bets instead of gambling. If there is ever a chance of you losing money, whether because something is very volatile, then it does have the gambling aspect to it. It's not like when you are doing your job, you're always going to be getting money. You're not going to lose your money doing your job, right? That's different. So I hope this video has helped. This is going to establish the foundation of the risk management topic. And in the next few videos, we will go in more depth. I hope you enjoyed this series so far, and if you did, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel because it will help tremendously. Thank you.